BTMReview.com here with another episode of our The Walking Dead podcast, talking about Four Walls and a Roof. Before we actually get into the episode, I do want to make a mention really quick, kind of unrelated to The Walking Dead, but if you're a fan of horror, it definitely holds relevance. True crime author Corey Mitchell, you guys might know him as the guy that holds up the House Core Horror Film Festival every year, for the past couple of years anyway, in Austin, Texas. Just recently passed away a couple of years ago. We wanted to give our condolence and shout out because we've had the pleasure of talking to him. I've talked to him a couple of times, and he was a really cool guy that loved the scene, loved horror. Don't know if he liked The Walking Dead, but it doesn't matter. It's sort of a shared universe. So, I don't know, much thoughts and prayers and all that to his family. It's crazy stuff. But on to The Walking Dead. This episode was interesting. We didn't really learn any more about the Gabriel character, but we definitely got more about Gareth and all those guys. And it was another direct continuation off the last episode, which made me happy. But I think, as we predicted, from this episode onward, it's going to go into Splitsville, and we're going to have people splitting up and, draining our time. But as far as the episode at hand, what did you guys think? First impressions?
Well, this is Riverman here, a.k.a.
Oh, man, I'm sorry.
a.k.a.
You know what?
Ass whatever.
Wow. I need a little forgiveness because, like I said, we just learned about a death, and, it bugs you. But, yeah, Riverman and Pat, I'm sorry about that. And, yes,
howdy, folks.
Riverman, according to a lucky viewer of ours, he's a what was that never shuts the hell up?
Whoa,
that's what he said. Quote. I'm not saying.
Right.
Okay, well, you can bleep it out.
We can bleep it out. It's a podcast. Who really cares? We don't really abide by FCC regulations.
Well, and I'm not looking to offend anybody. I'm just saying what this gentleman said, and I thought it was hilarious. Not the first part, not necessarily the first part, but the fact that the second part, he made a mention that River never shuts the hell up. See, you were getting under people's britches in that lab stuff.
He's serious. Either that or he has you confused for Aaron, you and River confused, because if there's a person who talks more than any of us, it's you. So I don't know, man.
I thought it was pretty funny myself after Aaron told me about that. I ended up checking it out, and I got a good chuckle out of it.
I have a feeling that he was probably referring to the last episode only. I'm not assuming he listens to all of them, but I don't know. On that last episode, you were pretty ripe, and I don't think it's necessarily verbatim like, "Hey, you talk too much." I think it's you talk too much shit, and it was a bunch of negativity. It was just.
It wasn't. I gave it a 7 out of 10. How is that negativity?
After you just raped the thing verbally for.
Well, I got to tell you what problems it had. I mean, come on, man.
So he answers River's negativity with his own uplifting message of hope.
Pretty much. I guarantee I'll be listening to this show now too, just because of my negativity.
What was his name?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
Oh, high racist commenter.
Anonymous racist commenter, I believe, on YouTube. One of the different formats. But yeah, so what was your first impression, River? We'll start with you since you're the man of the hour.
Well, basically, I was pleasantly surprised. I mean, there was a lot of things that I did like about this. There was actually a lot of fewer things that I didn't like about this episode. I was kind of had to eat my words here because I was bitching about Bob not dying in this past episode, and I totally redeemed themselves by killing him off in this episode. And we came to the conclusion where we thought Bob was bitten, and I don't want to jump around too much, but it is towards the beginning where they find out that Bob was bitten, and he has tainted flesh, which I thought was funnier than hell.
Yeah, we kind of saw that coming. I think we touched on that last episode, that he was probably bitten, and yeah, they all got tainted, which, nothing came of that. I mean, I don't know how long it would take to show the effects of that, or if maybe Gareth was right. We cooked it thoroughly to 165.
Does it show symptoms like, like E. coli or like botulism or something like that? You kind of got to wait around before it. And like
maybe
Are the symptoms different when you eat it as opposed to getting bit? Like, do you get the shits first and then you die?
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying maybe since they cooked it really well, they'll just get a real bad case of diarrhea.
What do you have to cook it to 165, or is it since it's a human flesh you have to cook it to 185?
That's what I'm asking here. You know, what is the temperatures that you need to cook? Can I eat my human if it's tainted at medium rare, or do I need to go all the way well done? I mean, I'm probably gonna like a little pink in the middle, so I don't know if I can go with this.
Don't we all? Interesting. But yeah, the whole first scene was great. You know, on that topic though of cooking the meat, it's funny because you'd think if you were just doing it to survive, you know, a guy's got to eat, they're trying to survive, you're gonna just cook it all the way. You're not gonna take those risks. But these guys are kind of sadistic. You know, women taste the best, especially that pretty Sasha. You know,
that was rather stupid in my eyes. I mean, the whole Gareth one-liners were just like the cheesiest out of all of them, man. They were horrible, but they were funny.
He's different than the governor. The governor didn't come off cheesy. He was sadistic, but he seemed legitimately crazy.
Well, and he was threatening too, yeah.
And he had that, he had that Napoleon, just that complex. And this guy, he's
just a hipster douchebag. This guy,
yeah, he's very much a hipster. It's more like he's like a stand-up comedian. I don't know. He's a little cheesier, but it's funny because fast forwarding just a little bit, I was very, very, very happy that they ended the Gareth storyline really quick.
Yes.
I mean, building up to that, basically what happens, Bob somehow, I guess they didn't drop Bob off because Bob would have told him.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they did.
They did?
They were trying to trap him, yeah.
I just watched the episode, so it's fresh in my memory.
Hey, you were messaging me about the passing of Corey.
I'm making fun of Aaron on that one, folks.
Yeah, I was distracted, man. I got news of a death. But yeah, okay, whatever. Then why didn't he say anything to him? If
he did.
Yeah, he did.
Didn't you just watch the goddamn thing?
I'm telling you, you gave me the news of a passing, so I was in and out for a good 10 minutes of the episode. I apologize.
If only there was a way you could stop it at the current point to do whatever you needed to do and then restart.
You know what? I really couldn't. The remote was out of my reach, and I didn't want to get up.
Bob walked back on a stump.
I had a plate of hot wings on my stomach.
He hopped back. He hopped back on his one leg, all the way back, and collapsed into a heap. He told him that they had him at his school, and then they cut his leg off, and they ate him.
Mm-hmm. Okay, fantastic. So he's there.
Do we need to fill you in on any other details of the show?
What?
No, I think I'm good. That was the entire portion that I was kind of in and out. Okay. Other than that, I was there. So gotcha. You should be hosting this one. Okay. Yeah. So Bob is there. He's back at the church and fills them in, I guess.
Yeah.
And and Rick comes up with this divine plan. We did get that moment though where him and Seamus did go. I keep calling him Seamus. Him and Abraham. Shamerham. They did go head-to-head, because I remember in the last episode I was kind of making mention of that. I'm surprised they never had that moment. They were just kind of buddy-buddy and respectful of each other, but they're two very much alpha males. We got a little bit of that in this one. They almost went toe-to-toe. Obviously, Abraham we got to get friggin' dork face to Washington, D.C. We're not waiting around for Daryl. And, of course, the other guys want to wait around and save Daryl and stuff.
Which by the way, you don't know if he's coming back or not.
Well, yeah, I know, but and like you guys said, you guys make a lot more sense this episode when you guys were talking about the whole it being a plot device of why did Daryl just disappear? Why did they just go off? And he didn't make a single appearance in this episode. And if that didn't happen, then we wouldn't have had that great divide of we're not going, we're staying, or whatever. So I don't know. It is kind of silly, but you guys know they made an agreement. He's giving them 12 hours. Well, I don't know.
We called this last episode that this was going to happen. The group was going to split up. One was going to Washington. One was going to either find Beth and whoever and go. But
did you guys see coming that Glenn and Maggie were going to go with Seamus?
No, especially because wouldn't she want to find her fucking sister?
Yeah, you know what? I keep forget. I guess in this season,
I forget that too.
I think Maggie did, and so did the fucking writers. Jesus.
with the lack of Beth and the lack of even Daryl so far. And honestly, since they've all been sort of together in this group, no one's getting a lot of spotlight except for maybe Rick or something. Maggie's got like one line. You had the lesbian getting like one line in there, and you got like what Seamus's girlfriend saying one thing. Everybody's got to get like 2 words in, and that's it.
Tyrese has been getting a lot of play in this.
Tyrese has got a lot, but other than that, I forgot that. You forget about Beth, and you forget that they're sisters. But you're right, I didn't even think about that. She really had
the biggest pussy in the show, Tyrese.
He's like the new moral compass. All of a sudden, it's just like we have to have one. Like for a couple seasons there, it was Carol, and then Carol's callous now. So it kind of was Rick for a second. And now we got to have Tyrese.
Yeah.
What about like Herschel though?
Well, Herschel too, but Tyrese is put off. So he could have made things a little more less on themselves with that baseball cap on.
Well, and you know what? He's the guy that stayed behind and didn't go out. Their little faux plan of going out into the woods and looking, obviously it turned into a bit of an ambush on their own.
Which I was going to be so goddamn mad.
I was going to text you, Pat.
If that was going to play out to where, like, all of a sudden, like, the next scene we saw them hanging out at the elementary school, like, oh, shit, where are they at? Then I was literally just going to stop watching the show from that point
Me too.
on.
I was going to text you because I was like, is Rick this fucking stupid? After everything he's been through, and he's just going to do this.
I was literally sitting there just like, I wasn't like on the edge of my seat. I was more or less just mad. Like, why hasn't this happened yet? Somebody needs to kill these people. They had to have turned around. This cannot be happening again.
Well,
luckily, they changed it around. But
yes. I was with you in that.
Yeah, it would have been obvious. Clearly they said a million times somebody was watching them, and it's not enough to leave one guy, a.k.a. Tyrese, who's emotionally just broken at this point to protect everybody. And little Carl with a gun, who, by the way, I don't think said one thing, maybe. I don't know.
He quieted Judith down.
Yeah. And he leaves. I guess you can't take the baby with you, but it did seem a little odd. Like they didn't leave enough protection behind for all of them. So, but I'm really, really happy the way it turned out, and I'm glad they didn't go the normal TV route of them showing mercy. You got Rick there standing before a pussy, crying, begging Gareth, and you can't believe that guy. He made the right call, and I was just waiting in that moment. Because Glenn was sort of standing in the background, not doing anything. I was waiting for him to go, Rick, no, they're people too. I was waiting for him to speak up like he always does.
No, they fucking owe Rick on this one because Rick was the one who sat there and said, "Hey, let's pick them all off from the fence," and everybody's like, "No, let's let them live.
Rick. We're fine.
Yeah, we're good. We got out. Yeah, look what that got you. Bob's doesn't have a leg and now he's dead."
And it is. You know what? I wonder if they're feeling guilty about that. No one's gotten to that point yet. They're, Bob's dying. They were having their goodbyes, like, "Oh, we'll never forget you, Bob," and all that stuff.
How about that for a little character development? Sorry, Bob, we got you killed there. Shit.
Well, that was the best scene of all season so far. The first 3 episodes. Just hacking him up and having Glenn and Maggie staying there looking at him like they're fucking batshit crazy. I love that part, man. And that just bumped it up a few notches for me.
It was a great part. And, the fact that, what did Rick say? Something like, "I made you a promise," and just hacked away at his head.
Yeah.
And you have Seamus just beating him with the stock of the gun.
Yeah.
It was like, on cue, they just all started beating the living tar out of all of them. It was awesome.
That was cool.
After biting off Joe's throat from last year, that's got to be pretty much like the second best scene with Rick killing somebody in it.
No mercy. Yeah. Rick's a badass again.
Yeah.
And it was that whole thing. Well, to his credit, like you guys were saying, there was going to be no mercy earlier, but he let the group outvote him and talk him out of from doing it. He wanted to do it before, and you know what? He's a better man than me because amongst this whole time, this whole couple of day arc or however long it's been, he's been a real good sport about not going, "I told you so. I told you so. I told you so." Yeah. I would. He's not done it. He takes the high road. Even during the confrontation with Gareth when he's on his knees, he even says, like, "You could have killed us then. I didn't want to waste the bullets." Bullshit. He'd be like, "I wanted to. These assholes behind me wouldn't let me. Now I get to do it." I would have. I'm not a better man. I would have been shoving it down your throats the whole time.
Wasn't Gareth saying something?
I wouldn't understand at all how a mutiny would occur with Aaron just constantly sitting there saying, "See, I told you so."
I told you so. Look what you guys did, Bob.
I was right the whole time. You guys are dumb.
I thought, well, didn't Gareth say something before he got axed or whatever? Wasn't he trying to spill some beans about something?
I don't think so. He was just pleading before he got his fingers shot off.
Oh yeah, that was funny.
But he was
Rick's a hell of a shot in the dark with the biggest goddamn gun I've seen since Jack Nicholson in the original Batman.
Yeah. It was dark. Like you couldn't even see it on the TV. It's like it kind of didn't even look like his fingers got shot, and it was pitch dark. Yeah, they were aces at that. They were hitting all the targets, but I don't know. I think he was just pleading. I think he was just on his knees, and he said, he's like, well, there's no. He basically said, like, you didn't kill us before. There must have been a reason for that. Basically, like he's got a merciful heart or whatever. I don't think he said much more than that.
I thought he was trying to say something about like maybe the other cult or whatever, or something like along those lines.
And you know what? It made me happy that they nixed all this stuff really early, because we thought they were going to drag this out a little more. I'm very happy that they took a character like this and they just slaughtered them all. Yeah. But it doesn't mean the arc is necessarily done, because there's still the guy that took Beth, or there's the leader of the group, I guess. I don't know. I mean, we haven't even touched on that, because the episode ends with Daryl coming out of the woods, which, by the way, is totally stupid. Him coming out of the woods, like, oh, Michonne is smiling, who, by the way, picked up her katana, and she left that persona for, like, what, a day? I'm back, Well,
yeah, and you didn't understand that when we were talking about that last week, but it was kind of blatantly obvious in this episode.
Well, yeah, after what Rick... They did it again. They keep going back and forth. They slaughtered everybody, and he did his thing where he turned around and looked at someone like Maggie and like, look, it would have been us.
Had to be done. Yeah.
It would have been us. And he has to console everybody about it. And then I'm pretty sure during the event like that, that's when Michonne's like, he's right. We got to be animals or whatever again. And
but why would Glenn and Maggie want to leave after seeing that slaughter? Why wouldn't they want to stick with Rick, because he's a badass now and he's going to protect you?
Because the writers
writing, that's why.
Yeah, it's the writers.
I'd stick with Rick after I saw that.
The writers need some main characters for those lame episodes that are going to be just focused on the DC group. Yeah. They need some money making characters.
We're gonna get another episode of two characters getting drunk in a cabin. Watch.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. It doesn't make sense to me at all. I mean, like I said, besides the fact that it's just for the sole purpose of ratings and writing, and they want to put Glenn and Maggie when we got those boring episodes with like Eugene and all that stuff. Other than that, it makes absolutely no sense, because Glenn, I mean, granted, he's with Maggie. I know he doesn't want to separate from her, but he's been super adamant about them sticking together, the whole series sticking together. But yeah, so that part's just dumb. But anyway, the end of the episode, in the woods, you hear the rustling, and then Daryl comes out, and then of course she's like, oh, where's Carol? Who would really do this? Who would look in the woods and go, all right, come on out? Even if it was Beth. Yeah. Wouldn't you just want Beth to show herself? Like, oh, I got Beth.
I don't think he has Beth, but I think he might have found some other people, or some other, I don't know.
Or maybe some of the cult, maybe grabbed one of the guys and he's holding them hostage or something.
Possibly.
Trying to get him to talk.
Possibly. I don't know if you guys saw the upcoming scenes of the next Walking Dead, but they explain it doesn't explain quite a bit, but you start getting a little better picture of where Beth possibly is, and it's also a quite drastic change of scenery. So
I did see that. Yeah, it looked like Rick from the first episode.
Yeah, we had a hospital scene of Atlanta. Inside of Atlanta. I guess probably.
I'm assuming.
Well, yeah, because Daryl says, you hear that Daryl voiceover saying he found her, but he couldn't get to her, or something like that.
So, I mean, unless there's any other things about this episode we need to break into, I mean, besides the fact, I think the only thing we didn't touch on was the fact that we didn't learn much about Father Gabriel except why he felt so guilty.
But
I think that's about what we called it as. I mean,
just something. The door's locked, and
he's just a big wiener. Yeah. The thing I learned about the Walking Dead universe is there's always lots of shovels around. There was 3 shovels standing behind Tyrese when he's burying bodies. I'm like, what in God's name would a frickin' church have 3 shovels for?
You bury your own.
I mean, that you saw that graveyard. Nobody's been buried in that fucking thing for at least 50 years. Did you see the brush? Nobody takes care of it.
They should have buried Bob in the pet cemetery and see if he came back.
That's the way the Indians did it.
That's cross-franchising, but Stephen King would probably get all pissed off.
Not unless you gave him a cameo in the shitty adaptation.
Oh,
Edward Furlong will pop up. Yeah, that'll be great.
He needs the work.
I love you more. Dude, we're going all this stuff. I don't know, but where do we think? I'm surprised. Yeah, I'm surprised. Father Gabriel's just gonna be. Is he gonna be dead weight at this point? Is he gonna hold more? Is he gonna be somebody that's just gonna die, or do you think he's gonna be someone that's gonna develop further?
I don't really think anybody cares about Father Gabriel. Just like I really don't think anybody cares about Beth either. I mean,
not Father Gabriel. I don't think anybody cares about him.
Do you think anybody cares about Beth? Honestly,
but we don't.
No,
we've had characters like this where they were nothing at the beginning, and then they kind of develop a little further on. Do we think
I'm asking about Beth though.
I honestly think people do care about Beth. She has her own friggin' episode coming up next. So
yeah, well, she's got a whole promo campaign dedicated to her. Like, who took Beth? Yeah, it's all about her. And
I could see maybe like a Maggie or Glenn just because everybody loves them. But Beth, I mean, come on.
But here's the thing. Yeah, Beth. It took her a few years. She was just nothing for a couple of years. She was the babysitter. She was the quiet sister that nobody never talked in season 2.
She had one episode last year, and that was it.
But she's paid her dues, and now she's somebody that everybody does care about. Is Father Gabriel somebody? I mean, even Bob had his moment of redemption. Is Father Gabriel going to serve a purpose later on, or is he just somebody that is there to become zombie food?
I think he's filler. Honestly, I think he'll be. I think he'll be dead by the end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have a personality either, so nobody cares about it.
It's not. I mean, you already got his story isn't. I mean, not like Michonne. I mean, everybody's got their stories and whatnot, but like Michonne's took so much longer to come to full light, and so did a lot of other people's. But him just like break it down right there. They've already explained who he is. I mean, I don't even know. Do you even think they're gonna be in the church anymore, hanging out, or do you think they're gonna start hitting the road now that Daryl?
A couple more episodes,
and possibly Daryl's back.
I don't know. Well, I mean, they might. I would say they're going to hit the road because Daryl's probably got some information on Carol or Beth's whereabouts, obviously the hospital, but they probably wouldn't take the whole group. I mean, they got a baby in tow and stuff. They might leave. Like Tyrese is obviously just fragile at this point. He might stay back and just babysit now that there's nobody watching him. And then maybe Morgan might finally surface. Yeah. I mean, for a while there, I thought Morgan was one of the people watching him before it was clear that Gareth was. Yeah. So maybe Morgan, some people will I guess we're segging into predictions here, but I think that most of the group's going to go looking for Beth, and Daryl's going to lead them the way. Maybe somebody like Tyrese or whoever's going to stay behind. They're going to watch the baby, because why would they just throw away the shelter? They're going to use it for something. And now that Gareth and people aren't watching them, but I think maybe Morgan's going to find the church.
Well, that's one person Daryl could have ran into and brought him back. Morgan. So.
Yeah, that's right. Maybe it was Morgan. But did Daryl ever know Morgan?
Didn't they go to the booby trapped?
No,
I thought it was just Rick and Carl.
Oh, okay. That was just Rick and Carl. Rick and Carl's the only people that have known him. Oh. So you never know. That still doesn't count out that he still might have Morgan. Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, even Morgan wouldn't know him from Adam. He wouldn't know that he knew Rick or had any association. So I would probably bet against that. But I mean, he's going to show up eventually. But I mean, other than that, yeah, I think some of the group's going to stay behind with the baby and stuff, and they're obviously going to go and try and take names and go to the hospital or wherever it is Beth is.
Oh, go ahead.
No, that is to say, we're starting to tread into unsafe waters here, because now we got the group splitting apart. That is to say, the next episode isn't their scenario of driving away like the Partridge Family, which I can't see being very exciting. I would hope to God the next time we get an episode that's just focused on them, they're done with the driving, they're somewhere else,
Yeah, good luck with that. But, one thing I saw on Facebook, I was seeing people talk about like the end of the series and how they think it's like a dream by Rick or whatever.
That's been going on. That's been going on for about 3-4 years. People want to say theory.
Yeah, and I'm just trying to find subtle hints to maybe see if it actually is.
I heard somebody apparently completely said it was ridiculous, but if it does turn out to be true, I'm going to burn down the AMC production office. Personally.
Look, if this was 40 years ago,
that shit's not cool. All right, we're over that. This isn't Super Mario World 3. This isn't fucking acceptable.
You mean Super Mario Bros. 2?
Super Mario Bros. 2, yeah.
It was all a dream. Well, yeah, and then they of course
that shit.
They did it. They did it on Dallas, and like I'm saying, if this was 40 years ago before Dallas did it, that ending would blow people's minds. It'd be like, "Whoa, I've never seen anything like that." But yeah, now it's just cliche at this point. And that theory's been going around almost since the show started. So I don't think they've had plenty of times to change their direction in writing. I don't think they would do that, even though didn't Robert Kirkman say that some fans have already predicted the ending of the series?
I thought that was George R. R. Martin in Game of Thrones.
Okay. I'm getting both shows messed up. Okay.
If you can't figure out the ending of that show, you're fucking stupid.
I don't think, though, as many rabid fans as The Walking Dead has, and a bunch of people just kind of coming up with their fun theories and stuff. I mean, some people put way too much time into thinking about the show. Somebody has to be kind of close to hitting it on the head. You got to be in the realm of.
Oh, I'm sure some dork on a message board has hit the nail on the head, verbatim. But
send in your predictions, people. Want to hear?
Yeah. I like back in what was it, the second season or the third season? I don't remember, but back when we had Issa doing this podcast with her, I kind of entertained her theory because, and I don't remember if maybe it was kind of both our theory. I think that Daryl's like the cash cow, and they're never going to kill him because he's their ratings.
He's the John Connor.
Yeah, he's the John Connor. They make it to Washington, D.C., and they find out he has the antibody. And he has, like, the cure in his, like, rare blood. And they've made him into, like, the Christ martyr or something like that because, he's...
So do both him and Rick survive the entire show, then, you think?
I don't see Rick, no.
Seriously?
I could see... Well, no, I could see them both surviving, of course, going off into the wilderness together. But, I mean, also... I could see one of them just totally dying at the last episode or something really dramatic.
I think Rick would be that person because it's always the protagonist, the main protagonist that something like that happens to.
Or I mean, I guess it could be flipped around, but it could be a very, very dramatic last episode if it comes to it where either Rick or Daryl has to kill the other one. Maybe they.
Well, we'll have to wait for about another 5 seasons to see it.
But how do you guys think the next episode is going to play out?
It's going to
finish up the.
I'll throw that out. It's going to be the Beth show, pretty much. Probably the backstory of where she's been and who she's been hanging out with and all that. I'd maybe telling a story, and we're not going to get a whole lot from our main characters right now, but it'll probably be a filler episode of Beth. But.
Mm-hmm. That's probably safe to say. Actually, that's pretty much the way the show runs. I don't know if it'll be.
Yeah. It pretty much already gave it away that there's going to be some obvious explanation, and I mean we have been kind of waiting for it to see exactly who took her and what's been going on. So
even though they could have taken her, and I couldn't give two shits.
I'm anticipating it, but
she can sing really well, and people like her.
Maybe that's why they're keeping her alive.
We know Daryl doesn't want a piece of that.
Grew up so much in that episode last season.
Or she was drinking. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why these people are keeping her alive. Maybe it's a lot like Ben Stiller in Tropic Thunder because he can act, needs the entertainment. Like sing for us. I don't know.
There's been articles about her left and right ever since she started singing more and got her own episode. So.
I mean, I anticipate the episode, but I'm hoping so far the season's, I'm digging it how fast they're moving. They're not taking their time. Hopefully we can get this backstory episode, but hopefully we can see the group actually reach her before the episode's over at some point. And hopefully that doesn't happen for a couple of weeks. So, but other than that, I'm anticipating to find out what happened. I mean, I kind of miss her, I haven't seen her in a while. I haven't seen her in a while. I mean, it's,
I'm tired of seeing Carol's ugly face.
You didn't even see her this episode.
Oh, I guess we didn't. Never mind.
I don't have that much to bitch about, so I just gotta bitch about just generic things that I just don't like about the show.
Pretty much.
Well, River, speaking of that, what's your rating on this episode?
You know what? I don't have a whole lot to bitch about this episode. I really enjoyed it. I actually enjoyed it more than the first episode. Which I really enjoyed the first episode. And I think I gave the first episode a 9 out of 10, which I would give this episode, like, if I could do a point something, I would go just a little bit higher than the first episode, because just how dark it was and how they slaughtered a few of those characters I thought was fantastic. And Bob dying, I mean, great. Bob died, which was nice, and we didn't have to sit through a whole 2 episodes of Bob dying. He just, he got bitten, and he pretty much died in 20 minutes, which was nice. So,
what was that about? You said Bob dying? Okay.
Yeah. So,
you said it about a million times. All right.
Folks, if you weren't clear, River was happy that Bob died.
Yes.
Anybody died for that matter.
So, after all that, I would give it a 9 out of 10 because I really did enjoy it. I didn't have much to bitch about. But probably because we got a little bit of Maggie and Glenn, which I didn't like, but that was pretty much why I didn't give it a perfect 10.
Oh, you got just a tad. Give me a break. But I like your score. What about you, Pat?
If I could put it, again, a point system, I'd give it a hard 8 on this one. I enjoyed it. I was very entertained. The only thing, again, why wouldn't Maggie go do everything she can to look for her sister? If that was my sister, yeah, I'd be trying to look for her. But whatever. Apparently, we just don't care anymore. Other than that, I was happy, like I described earlier, when they completely flipped it around on us and brought, you knew hopefully Rick would come back into the church and we would be spared from having to sit through it again. I don't like the fact that it's splitting up yet again. I just wish kind of the entire group would stay together and be able to, singularly towards one goal, kind of how they used to do in season 1, the end of season 1 and the beginning of season 2. But
they'd have to pay their actors a lot more if they did that, though.
Apparently. And yeah, I honestly thought that we're gonna kill all 3 black people in one fell swoop in this episode, though. So
Racist.
I'm the racist. I'm not leaving the comments on this. I'm not leaving the comments.
Oh man, you know what? We could take a lesson or two from the zombies of this universe. They don't hold any prejudice. They'll eat whoever.
Right. It's a pretty deep metaphor there, Kirkman.
The humans too.
Yeah.
I gotta agree with Pat. I think it's a solid 8. I'm kind of skeptical on giving it a 9 just because, but it's very, very solid. All 3 episodes have been very, very consistent, and honestly, with this kind of consistency, it's on track to being one of the better seasons. So hopefully.
Okay, so you gave last episode a 9 out of 10, but you give this one an 8 out of 10.
I did.
How does that make any sense?
It doesn't.
It doesn't, man.
Nor will it ever.
It's not going to make sense with anybody's ratings because, I mean, you could sit there and call out a rating we gave an episode in season 3. It's all relative to the season, I think. And, there was a couple, obviously, like the premieres and the finales and stuff and the governor stuff. Maybe we were really wowed at the time. I remember after season 2 and how lull-based it was when we got the action of season 3. It was really cool. Like, oh, man, it's a great episode 9 or 10. It was so good. It'd be interesting to see what that's like against an episode now. I'm taking it relative here. The last episode I really, really enjoyed. I thought it was a lot more balanced than you guys did here.
Well,
this episode,
in the last episode.
This episode, you could call. I'm with Pat. I don't understand the whole Maggie thing. And I don't understand the whole fact that they're going with Abraham makes absolutely no sense because they're abandoning the character traits we've come to know. Glenn has always been adamant about sticking together, and he's so easy to just go with these people. And yeah, no one seems to care about Beth anymore. I mean, even Glenn. Okay, if Maggie doesn't care about her sister, you'd think being the loving husband Glenn is, he'd be like, we got to find her sister, baby. No, nobody cares.
And that's completely unrealistic because his ass would sure as shit be staying there because she'd be bitching at him that you're going to leave and not go to Washington and not help me find my sister. I mean, yeah, obviously the writers of the show aren't married, so.
Yeah, I just the strongest point. The strongest point of this episode was just how fast they moved it, and it wasn't too slow, it wasn't too fast, and yeah, obviously the scene where they just totally went butcher on Gareth's group was it was a series stealer really, and we need more scenes like that. But yeah, I'm just happy that they got it. I'm happy there wasn't some stupid predictable. Yeah, all right, we'll let you live, or we'll tie you up or something and leave you.
No, I was waiting for that.
And I'm glad there's no moral. I like grimy Rick. I like dirty. I like it, and I'm glad they nixed him. And this is the kind of show where you don't expect them to freaking just kill off characters they could potentially milk for an entire season. So, kudos on whoever's writing right now.
I think they finally had to wisen up and realize that they can't continue to fucking do that anymore. I mean, there's too much money at stake, and I guess. I don't know. Maybe they finally started listening to dorks like us, but I doubt it.
There you go.
Robert Kirkman, if you're listening right now, I know you are.
Fuck Talking Dead. Listen to us.
Yeah, Chris Hardwick's that tool bag.
Yeah, he is.
I don't know, but yeah, I'm going to say an 8 just because I'm skeptical. I'm going to try and not give 9s and 10s so easily because I know we're always going to eat our words on that. Well, if this one was a 10 or a 9, and the season finale is like amazing.
Well,
or something.
This is definitely a 9 in my book.
Like you said, River, you're like
nobody's called this out yet, so I think we're good.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter, dude. Our ratings are much like Joe Bob Briggs, dude. I don't really think
4 skulls.
He never put much stock in it. He's like, there's 3 titty shots, 4 decapitations, and 3 hangmans. I give it 4 skulls. Whatever, man. But I'm looking forward to it. Other than that, that's about this episode. I'm looking forward to seeing Beth back. Let us know what all you guys think. Hit us up on btmreview.com, comment there, on the Facebook, BTM Review, and, of course, YouTube and iTunes. And leave more feedback because we love that. And by all means, insult Riverman.
Call the hotline and insult us, too.
Yeah, that would be funny. If it's a funny enough insult, if it's as funny as some of the stuff we get in text,
no
in
racist
audio
stuff.
form, yeah, well, if it's pushing the boundaries there, we'll probably not have to play it or beep it all out. But yeah, in audio form, it'll be priceless, and more than likely those will definitely go into the podcast. But what's that number, River?
402-218-2007.
Oh, man. So, yeah, hit us up there. And also, if you guys are into the realms of horror, action, and any and all that stuff, gaming, we're always looking for more contributors at btmreview.com, whether that is writing or if you want to spout out your opinion and talk like we do, and maybe you're a lot better than we are, feel free to hit us up on the contact section of the website. Could always use more help. But that is it for now. Thank you, guys. I'm Aaron.
River.
Pat.
Thanks, guys.
Good night, Canada.